Yo, good evening, USA, Canada, all over the world, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. To everyone, I'm your man G Money Stacks, aka Misunderstood Lonely Nomad, aka the Greginator. Um, Also YouTuber, the Unstoppable Independent Podcaster, host with the most, and rookie podcaster of Queens, New York. And you're now listening, tuning in, and rocking with the 134th episode of Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York podcast, live and direct from StreamYard, YouTube, and of course, alongside of myself is the Instagram live feed of the podcast show page. Make sure you turn on your notifications on the gram so you won't miss anything. Um, and if you have any comments on the topics on what's going to be discussed today, feel free to jump into the comment section on Instagram Live. And yeah, and speaking of which, be sure to grab be sure to grab the subscribe button. Also, tap the noti bell so you can be reminded when the show goes in the air via live stream. Leave a like and a comment. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes, more video content, previous episodes. Share the episodes, share the videos. Um, Make sure you download. Don't forget to rate. And I will go over the audio streaming platforms on the go at the end of the show. Now, the reason why I'm recording a little early is because I want to get a head start on whatever I have to do later on. So I wanted to get this out the way. Yes, this is episode 134. Now, a little quick reminder. There's not going to be a podcast tomorrow, but the next podcast recording is going to be on Saturday at 10 p.m., which will be episode 135. I'm actually going to do a little catching up as far as the box office and stuff like that. But I am gonna cover what's going on in the box office today too. Um so stick around for that. We got some jam-packed shows for you today. Um I want to actually get to um all right, let's start off with a little mental check-in. Yes, as far as how I'm doing mentally, physically, and spiritually. Um Mentally, I'm trying to be as much as creative as I can as far as you know having a bunch of ideas bouncing in my head like a pinball machine, which is something that I can't really turn off. But I do manage to shuffle things around physically and spiritually. Um I am you know I'm going through a little you know I had my downs, but I'm going to have my ups too. So in other words, I'm not giving up on anything, no matter what the obstacles or the or the breaking balls that's gonna be thrown at me. I ain't going to be the main motherfucker hitting it out the damn park though. So and speaking of home runs, um, I like to remind remind you folks out there to reach out to your loved ones, like your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your friends, and even the people that you're cool with. You know what I'm saying? There is no right time to reach out to somebody. It's all about and also you can't really pick a you can't there is no good time to reach out in this case. It's all about following your mind, your soul, your your heart, your instincts as well, and also, having confidence in yourself, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to wait till mental health day and mental health awareness month to actually reach out to somebody to show that you care. It's all about how you empathize with a person. But be careful on where you put your energy to empathize with somebody. You might want to be careful. So, you know what I'm saying? So there you go right there. Um yeah, get started on some transit let's get started on some New York mass transit news under the segment that I like to call the New York Mass Transit Files right here. I'm gonna make some noise for that one right here. Um, make some noise. All right, our first story in transit news right here has to do with um a new person from Massachusetts. All right. So, this is according to amny.com. So the MTA has picked former Massachusetts Secretary of Transportation and consultant executive Rich Davey as the next president of New York City Transit, giving the massive agency a permanent leader for the first time in more than 2 years. Davies' appointment to oversee the city's sprawling subway system, buses, access a ride, and Staten Island Railway was announced by Metropolitan Transportation Authority Chief Jano Lieber Wednesday, and the new um Englander will replace interim um NYCT President Craig Cipriano starting May 2nd. He will be the first permanent head of the 54,000 person agency since Train Daddy. Train Daddy. Oh shit, Train Daddy. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, Train Daddy Andy Byford resigned in January 2020 to take over an operation as large as New York City Transit. The goal was to find someone with a diversified transit background and strong leadership skills, said Lieber in a statement. Rich is someone New Yorkers should feel confident in as the agency moves forward with major accessibility improvements and other capacity and reliability oriented upgrades like signal modernization, as well as mega projects such as phase two of the Second Avenue subway and in years to come. Governor Hochul's Interborough Express, Lieber said. Um, Cipriano will become NYCT's chief operating officer effective the same date, taking on a role previously held by MTA chief safety officer Pat Warren in an acting capacity. Cipriano was the transit agency's former head of buses, and Lieber tapped for the interim leadership role in July after then interim NYCT president Sarah Feinberg left. Shipping down from Boston, Davey, age 48, lives in Boston and currently works as a partner and director at Boston Consulting Group, leading the large firm's state and local public sector division. He previously served as secretary and CEO of the Massachusetts Department of Transportation from 2011 to 2014, in charge of the Bay State's highways, bridges, and tunnels, freight and passenger rail programs. regional transit agencies, and 36 airports. Wow. Davey first watched his way up the public transportation ladder at the Massachusetts Bay Commuter Railroad Company, starting in 2003 until becoming general manager of Boston's Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority, also known as the T, in 2010. The T runs the city's four main subway lines: buses, commuter rail, ferry, and paratransit. And the Boston the Bostonian will now oversee the far larger system in the Big Apple, which includes 25 subway routes across 472 stations and more than 320 bus lines. Davey, who said he hasn't owned a car in 12 years, also served as the CEO of the Boston 2024 campaign to bring the Olympics to the city before joining the Boston Consulting Group, which is one of the world's largest management consulting firms. In Wednesday's announcement, he said that he was concerned to New York City by living here during the September 11 terror attacks. Living in New York during 9/11 was a seminal moment in my life, said Davey in a statement. My experience being a New Yorker that day at that time is why I am coming back, because public service and, more importantly, public transportation is so important to me. I share the same principles as Chair Lieber: delivering on time and efficient service, welcoming customers to a safe environment, and constantly looking at ways to improve the system. I hope that whenever my tenure ends, New Yorkers can look back and say that guy from Boston made a difference, he added. As the head of the T, Davey once took fair enforcement into his own hands by personally stopping a turnstile hopper while en route to a work event. After serving as the lead of the larger state transportation department, he was credited with bringing stability to the agency after three of his predecessors resigned in as many years. Um, During Davies' time at the head of the Massachusetts agency, he pushed for tax increases to invest in transportation and worked to further expansions in light and commuter rails at the T, but also oversaw controversial fare hikes to close an agency deficit. Hmm. When asked about his regrets at the time of leaving the public transportation sector 8 years ago, Davis said it was to push for a ban on stroller on buses, an issue that has notably become a hot topic at the MTA in recent weeks. I wish I didn't propose banning strollers from buses. That had to be the dumbest idea I floated. But that was mine, he told Mass Live in 2014. Davey will take over after 2 years of rocky leadership changes at the MTA and the governor's office, which controls the large authority, all against the backdrop of the COVID-19 pandemic slamdemic. Bradford departed before weeks before the virus hit, citing intolerable interference by then former governor Andrew Cuomo. Cuomo also tried to split the MTA chair and CEO role in two, planning to replace outgoing chief Pat Foyer and Lieber as CEO and Feinberg as chairperson. The ex-governor launched the 11th hour maneuver just before lawmakers were scheduled to leave the Capitol and wrap up the year's legislative session, but the effort failed and Lieber took over both leadership roles in enacting capacity. Um, Governor Cuomo resigned in disgrace in August amid to mounting sexual harassment allegations against him, and his successor, Governor Kathy Hochul, nominated LIRR to stay in his role, for which he was officially confirmed by the state Senate earlier this year. Business ties. Davies' current employer, Boston Consulting Group, has done business with the MTA in the past, and one of the company's senior execs at its New York office, Neil Zuckerman, also sits on the authority's board and chairs its finance committee. In 2017 to 2018, MTA paid the consulting group $3 million for work on then Governor Cuomo's subway action plan to upgrade its aging transit infrastructure. $3 million is a lot. In March 2020, the MTA board approved hiring the firm, also with three other companies, for $18 million to work on the controversial transportation plan to recognize, excuse me, to recognize the agency and cut 2,700 jobs. Well, 18 million. And whoa, cut 2,700 jobs. Damn. The effort was criticized for spending millions on consultants and hiring new executives, and LIRR ended up shutting it down last year, saying he was not thrilled with its results. MTA spokesperson Tim Mitten told AM New York Metro that despite the board approval, the agency never ended up hiring Boston Consulting Group for the reorganization because he said transit leaders decided to scale back the use of consultants. There was not $1 that was spent on transportation consulting with the Boston Consulting Group, Minton said. Yeah. Well, here's some comments. At least he will not be bringing in for jobs all his relatives, pals, cronies, and like people. And he has experience, expertise, and success in his field before being handed NYC. Hopefully, Cipriano will be out the door within weeks. He was part of the managers protecting incompetent managers culture. Okay. Let's see. So, okay. So, let's see. Another transit news. I don't know if I talked about this. But for weeks, 3 weeks, strap hangers have been able to benefit from a $5 flat fare ticket to ride the MTA's two commuter railroads within the city limits during peak off-peak hours under the so-called city ticket program, except for one station in a working class neighborhood. Hold on a minute here. Working class neighborhood. Working class neighborhood at the southern edge of Queens, where riders will still have to pay almost twice that. Mm. The Far Rockaway stop on the Long Island Railroad does not offer the discount because trains must go out of the city and make stops along through the five towns just over the Nassau County border before returning to Queens along the route, Metropolitan Transportation Authority officials said. It's literally the only railroad station in the entire in the city. Travel to and from it requires going through Nassau County, said MTA Deputy Chief of Management and Budget Mark Young during a City Council Transportation Committee hearing Wednesday. The trains on the Far Rockaway branch of the LIRR go through 7 stations outside of the New York City border before veering back into Rosedale, Queens, and Young said with city ticket, Far Rock residents would have to pay only $5 despite traveling a longer distance than someone getting on at the next stop in the suburbs, shelling out the regular $9.25 fare. But the area's council member Selvana Brooks Powers, who also chairs the transportation committee, pushed the agency should still include the station. In quote, Far Rockaway is part of New York City. It is a part of the great borough of Queens, and the people in Far Rockaway deserve to have that option as well. Brooks Powers said during the March 16th hearing, they have to take an A train ride into the city that takes so long. It takes away time that they can be really spending with family, getting a few extra moments of sleep to have a real balance of quality of life. And because they live in Far Rockaway, they should not be penalized by not having that option. I agree. Um, According to the latest U.S. Census data for the area's zip code, Far Rockaway is nearly 44% Black, 24% Hispanic, and 24% white. And the median household income is $52,605, below $67,046 for the whole city. The neighborhood is also at the last stop on the A train subway line, which is less than 10-minute walk away from the LIRR terminus. An LIRR trip to Penn Station takes a while under an hour, while an A train makes the journey in about 66 minutes. Uh, However, the trips to other names in southeastern Queens are a good bit faster with the LIRR, such as 23 minutes to LIRR. No, excuse me. Um, to Rosedale as opposed to 51 minutes via two bus lines, or 35 minutes to Jamaica Center compared to 1 hour and 16 minutes on the subway or 48 minutes on the bus. MTA chairperson and CEO Jenna Lieber told AM New York Metro later Wednesday that the agency is looking at giving the Queens commuters some sort of benefit, even though offering the same city ticket deal is not possible. It is an anomaly. We very much respect and want to provide benefits to Far Rock. And what we're doing is we're looking at different ways of giving them incentives that would have real value, even if this one, because of that quirk is not possible, Lewis said during an unrelated press conference at Grand Central Terminal. Um, of course, we think that there might be other ways we can give Far Rockaway Long Island Railroad commuters on the Far Rockaway branch a similar incentive of close to or similar value. The transit honcho said, added. The stop has long been a hot topic among transit advocates, according to Lisa Daglian, um, the executive director of the MTA's in-house rider advocacy group, the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee. The concern that's been raised is people coming over the border, parking in Far Rockaway, and taking unfair advantage of both parking and a discount that's supposed to be for area residents, said Daglian. The transit booster agreed with Brooks Powers that Far Rockaway should be added to City Ticket and Atlantic Ticket in previous fair deal for $5 tickets around the clock at 10 LIRR stations in Brooklyn and Southeast Queens. It's just one of those vagaries um of the station, but it doesn't mean it can't be fixed, she said. We fixed hard problems, so we just have to come up with a solution. Well, I don't know about that one right there, man. But anyway, so um another transit news. We need to talk about the Queens bus redesign draft plan. Um okay, hang on a second. Stay with me. Okay. So the MTA finally released a revised draft proposal for its Queens bus network redesign Tuesday, overhauling the agency's ambitious um 2019 plans that were put on ice due to this pandemic slamdemic. The much anticipated revamp will bring changes to nearly every bus line in effort to speed up commutes in the world's borough, adding more routes while axing or co- consolidating others. Excuse me. Queens may be the most important of the five borough bus redesigns because Queens has historically had less subway service relative to its size and population than the other boroughs, said Metropolitan Transportation Authority chairperson and CEO General Lieber during a press conference in Jamaica on March 29th. Um, End quote. A bus is mass transit in many parts of Queens. It is the only way in many parts of Queens to connect to the subway system and the commuter rail system, the transit guru added. The MTA hit the brakes on its borough by borough bus network redesigns in the spring of 2020 amid the outbreak of the coronavirus disease 2019 pandemic slamdemic, including its then draft plan for Queens, which was released just months earlier in December. The agency restarted the efforts in August, beginning with the Bronx, which is slated to get a new no, excuse me, um, new bus network this summer. At the time, officials pitched the old draft plan as wiping the slate clean with fewer but more straightforward routes to serve the nearly 700,000 average weekday riders in Queens pre COVID. It aimed to update the confusing labyrinth of lines that cover the borough where buses often still travel along the paths of long gone trolleys or competing private bus companies predating the MTA. Bus speeds, ridership, and on time performance were all trending down before the pandemic slamdemic, and the Big Apple's buses had recently earned the distinction of being the slowest of any big city in the nation. The 2019 plan was seen as the most ambitious of the three boroughs redesign released at the time, for trying to completely redraw the network and provide simpler system and less routes. Officials at the time even gave the new routes QT prefixes instead of Q to signal a clean break from the old system and get riders away from the routes that they knew. The proposal met with vocal backlash at community meetings, and local feared the loss of or changes to bus service. The new plan still has a lot of changes, but instead of replacing lines, MTA adjusts most of them and maintains their Q label to make them more similar to riders. um MTA officials told they had told um they had told AM New York Metro that the negative feedback, including 11,000 comments and unprecedented unprecedented amount for any recent agency project, showed that the original scheme of starting from scratch with an all new network was just a road too far from Queens waters. The revision of the plan now after a total of 85 routes for the borough, up from the current 82 and from the 77 in the old draft. 20 routes will be brand new and 11 will be retired. Most of the most of the most of the which will either be part of a new route or combined with other existing ones, according to the MTA. Let's hope they don't do that to the Q5 bus I take. I hope not, man. But for other parts of Queens, I know pretty people are going to actually you know, they're gonna gonna feel a way. So be prepared. Anyway, yes. So 17 lines will be extended, 7 shortened, 5 will be combined with one or more existing routes, and only one line, the Q70 SBS, will remain unchanged. The agency wants to cut bus stops in order to space them further apart from about 850 feet on average to around 1,400 feet, which transit officials will say will reduce commuting time. Each stop MTA access could save 20 seconds. Yeah, hold on. 20 seconds of travel, officials estimate. The Queens bus network will, on balance, lose 1,685 stops in the plan, representing 33.7% of the entire borough network, um, according to MTA spokesperson Eugene Resnick. Under the old draft plan, the agency had planned to go further and cut the number of stops in half, the rep added. For comparison, in the Bronx, officials plan to get rid of about 400 stops as part of the redesign, which makes up some 20% of that borough. Queens is a home to several ends of subway lines, where many riders transfer to a bus to bring them to their destination deeper into the borough, and the MTA will introduce so-called rush service for buses that feed riders to subway lines for further out. For example, um, a revised Q84 would shuttle strap hangers from Laurelton, which is the area I'm living in, to Jamaica Center's E, J, and Z trains 9 minutes faster. The express bus network will lose a route, the QM3, add a new one, and consolidate two existing services, and QM10 and the QM40. The old draft plan proposed to halt express buses on Sundays due to low ridership, but the new proposal still includes some Sunday service. Um, MTA officials said the MTA's calculations for the new plan are still based on pre-pandemic slandemic ridership numbers and reads, but Queens has seen some changes to the street layout over the past 2 years. Of course, former Mayor Bill de Blasio opened two sets of busways in the borough during the pandemic slandemic. Um, one on Main Street in downtown Flushing and another on Jamaica and Archer Avenues. The MTA is still working with the city's Department of Transportation on implementing bus priority projects at 49 corridors, including busways and bus lanes for stretches such as 21st Street, Queens Boulevard, Woodhaven Boulevard, Rockaway Beach Boulevard, and Northern Boulevard. Um, the new plan would also no longer be revenue neutral, and the agency expects to spend more on the network overall than it currently does. Official told AM New York Metro. MTA will launch a 3-month public outreach campaign for the draft with 14 virtual feedback sessions starting April 18th. The agency plans to include the feedback into its final plan, which must be approved by the MTA board before the changes take effect. The public can also post comments online through an no, interactive online map which shows the current and proposed stops in detail. And Queens Borough President Donovan Richards encouraged residents to get familiar with the plans and have their voices heard. Queens families rely heavily on bus service that can often lack in efficiency and reliability, especially in our many transit deserts. So it could not be more important that we get the redesign of our borough's bus network right, said Richards in a statement. If our communities are fully engaged and involved in this process, getting it right is what we'll achieve. Um, let's see. Yeah, yeah, that part right there. Let's see. Okay, we need all right, so that's pretty much it for the transit news. Um, yeah, we need to talk about the Young Dolph's autopsy report. And of course, this is another segment right here. Of course, this is chatting all the jazz right here. Yes. Yes, the West Tennessee Regional Forensic Center in Memphis has released the autopsy report of young Dolph. According to Fox 13 Memphis, Dolph suffered 22 gunshot wounds. According to the report, wounds both entered and exited the body. Dolph was shot in multiple places, including the forehead, face, back, arms, chest, chin, neck, shoulder, and more. Um, Dolph born Adolph Thornton Jr. was killed on November 17, 2021 of last year outside of Makita's homemade butter cookies. Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, and Cornelius Smith have been charged in the case. A warrant is currently active for Shundell Barnett for his place in the connection. Devin Burns and Joshua Taylor have been named as persons of interest. Young Dolph's memorial at Makita's Cookies is scheduled to be taken down. In response, people have gathered asking for the memorial. Of course, this was had to remain untouched. Dolph was killed um at the location in November 2021. The owner of Makita's, Pamela Hill, reversed course on reopening the business, stating that she did not feel safe in doing so. According to ABC 24 Memphis, the building's owner then decided it was time to take down the memorial. I understand you have to lease it out and run a business, community activist Frank Gotti said. I understand it. It's his building and nobody can argue with him on that. I appreciate him for keeping it up this long. Um Members of Paper Route Empire are planning to honor Dolph with a new memorial in Castalia Heights, which already happened. Previously, um, one of the men in charge of caring for the dead Memphis rapper Young Dolph's memorial site was killed in Memphis. Friends of Jeremiah Taylor are shocked by the needless death of the young guy who took on the task of keeping Young Dolph's memorial in front of Makita's Cookies. The location of Dolph's murder on November 17th, clean and presentable. Jeremiah was a great person, said Gotti. He was so creative. He was on point. He was helpful. He would help anybody. Taylor's body was found on Getwell Road in Memphis, and police are looking for answers. Taylor spoke to ABC News affiliate in Memphis, ABC 24, about caretaking for the memorial, saying, I want people around the world to know we care about Dolph. The love he had with people. A lot of people are realizing and now seeing the person that he always was. Taking care of his community, being a philanthropist, and really promoting financial independence. It's a moral that he taught. All right. All right. Okay, there's more to this. Hold on a second. There's actually more to this actually. Um so so okay. So one of those suspected killers has been reportedly been attacked in jail. TMZ reports that last Friday, March 18th, Justin Johnson was punched by another inmate while making a phone call. According to Johnson's lawyer, Junie Ganguly, Johnson was in the facility's visitation area when someone approached him and connected a blow. Um, Although it's unclear where the punch landed on Johnson, TMZ claims that a rep for the Shelby County Sheriff's Office told them there were no injuries reported. Young Dolph was shot and killed on November 17th, 2021. Photos of the rapper's alleged murderers from security footage surfaced the following day. On January 5th, police launched a wanted fugitive alert for 23-year-old Justin Johnson. After a brief time on the run and actually dropping music, Johnson was arrested on January 15th, along with a second alleged gunman on Cornelius Smith. Last week, Dose autopsy report was released, which revealed that he was shot a total of 22 times. It was it was also officially ruled his death a homicide. Um, in a statement released following Dolph's death, his family said there are no words that exist that sufficiently express the pain we are feeling as a family. Losing Adolf Dolph Man changes our lives forever. Understandable. And while we will take each day as it comes, we are com- comforted in knowing that he leaves a legacy that reflects his heart, a heart that was for his family, a heart that was for the people. We are grateful for the outpouring of love. We are grateful that his godly obligation to show kindness to the world is being acknowledged. Double XL has reached out to Dose Lore and a rep for Shelby County Sheriff's Office for further comment on Johnson's reported attack. I'm not even going to even go there. Anyway, yeah. Let's see. We also got to talk about the attack in East Harlem. All right. So hold on a second. Um, hold on a second. 45. Okay. Hold on. All right. I don't know what the hell's going on here. Okay. Of course, the suspect behind the vicious stabbing of a McDonald's employee in East Harlem last week turned himself into police on Monday night, law enforcement sources said. Ezekiel Dunn Jennings, age 28, allegedly knifed the 31-year-old worker during a dispute at the fast food joint located at 2142 3rd Avenue early on the morning of March 9th. The days after, the NYPD disseminated the suspect's image. Dunn Jennings walked into the 75th Precinct Station House in Brooklyn and surrendered, sources familiar with the case said. He was then transported to the 25th Precinct and later booked on attempted murder, assault, and criminal possession of a weapon charges. While being escorted from the 25th Precinct Tuesday morning, Dunn Jennings claimed I was hit first, alleging that he was attacked before the assault of the McDonald's worker occurred. Yeah, right. He also said of the victim, I'm sorry, he was a very handsome man. Based on the preliminary investigation, police determined that Dunn Jennings allegedly got into a verbal argument with several McDonald's employees at about 12:40 a.m. on March 9th. According to sources familiar with the case, the 31-year-old male victim was working in the kitchen area of the McDonald's where when he was spotted Dunn allegedly threatening workers with a box cutter and ran up to intervene. For his trouble, cops said Dunn allegedly stabbed the employee in the back and slashed his face. Following the bloody assault, authorities said Dunn allegedly fled the scene on foot, heading westbound on East 117th Street toward Lexington Avenue. Officers from the 25th Precinct responded to the incident. EMS rushed the victim to Harlem Hospital in critical condition, but he appeared to be improving as of Sunday morning, sources familiar with the case said. All right. Let's see. Let me see. Let's see what else we could talk about here before I even get into any other stuff. Um, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. I've been saving this story for quite some time, actually. Taraji P Henson, according to Newsweek, is facing criticism for comparing Jussie Smollett to Emmett Till after her Empire co-star was sentenced to jail for faking a hate crime against himself, which he deserved. The castmate of the disgraced 39-year-old actor pleaded for him to be sentenced to home confinement rather than incarceration after he was found guilty of lying to the police about what he had initially described as a racist and homophobic attack in 2019 in Chicago. I'm not here to debate you on his innocence, Henson wrote in an Instagram post, along with a black and white picture that simply displayed the hashtag Free Jussie. But we can agree that the punishment does not fit the crime. Emmett Till was brutally beat and ultimately murdered because of a lie. And none of the people involved with his demise spent one day in jail, even after Carolyn Bryant admitted that her claims were false, which is two different situations. Two different situations. Smollett is currently in custody in Chicago County Jail, where he has been sentenced to 150 days behind bars. Hanson added in her caption, "No one was hurt or killed during Jussie's ordeal. He has already lost everything. Everything. To me, as an artist, not able to create that in itself is punishment enough. He can't get a job. No one in Hollywood would hire him again and again. As an artist who loves to create, that is prison." Um, let's see. My prayers is that he is freed and put on house arrest and probation because in this case that would seem fair. Please hashtag free Jussie. I mean that's um the Hidden Figures actress has faced criticism for including Emmett Till in her post about Smollett, and while she has turned comments off on Instagram, her remarks have sparked a conversation on Twitter. Till's 1995, no, excuse me, 1955 lynching and murder demonstrated the pervasiveness of racism and persecution of African Americans in the South and became a crucial galvanizer of the civil rights movement. The 14-year-old black teen was brutally murdered in Mississippi after he was accused of offering a white woman. No, offending a white woman. His murderers were acquitted by an all white jury, but subsequently admitted to the killing of a magazine interview. Yeah, at a hearing on Thursday, Judge James Lynn labeled Smollett a charlatan whose hypocrisy is just astounding. During the hearing, Smollett shouted to the courtroom that he was not suicidal or at risk of self harm and exclaimed, "If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBT community." However, Hanson referencing Till in her support for Smollett has not gone over well on Twitter. It's highly inappropriate to relate the two. This is not it, sis. He made up all this mess, reads one tweet. Oh boy. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Just want to close this thing. Yeah. Another said, could this comparison possibly get any more ridiculous? Emmett Till was actually lynched 66 years ago, and Jussie pretended to get lynched. Literally polar opposites. Yeah, it's two different situations. I have to agree with that. Yeah, it's two different situations. It's not the same thing. It's not the same shit. Um, One reads just a insane take and definitely disrespectful to the family of Emmett Till. Another response to Hanson's message on Twitter said, I know you feel like you have to be loyal to him, but the whole Emmett Till angle was not it. While another said, the first time I ever heard Emmett Till's story, I mean, it's still with me to this day. And to compare it to this, it's just disrespectful and tone deaf on so many levels. For someone whose work I enjoy and who I've always respected, this is going to be a tough thing to remove. Some fans, however, have praised the actress for standing up for Smollett. Exactly. Stand firm in supporting your friend needs one response. A number of celebrities have rallied behind Smollett and called for him not to be incarcerated for his crime. Well, he committed perjury. He committed perjury, which is basically a lie to the courtroom. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just beyond crazy to me. Um Yeah, Black Americans are incarcerated in state prisons at nearly 5 times the rate of white Americans. His sister, actress Journey Smollett, said on social media, Jussie is innocent, and you don't have to believe in his innocence to believe he should be free." The Black Lives Matter movement has also called for the judge to consider an alternative to incarceration for Smollett's punishment. Black Lives Matter stands in strong support of an alternative to incarceration sentence for Jussie Smollett. The group said in a letter, "We applaud your long held practice of imposing alternatives to incarceration sentences for virtually all class 4 felonies, such such as Mr. Smollett's, and encourage you to continue this practice in this case." Be right back, folks. Sorry about that, folks. Had to use the bathroom real quick. Um, so yeah, here I am. All right, now we can continue. Um, let's see. All right, what else can we talk about here in the show today? Um, yeah. So This topic kind of caught my attention for the past couple of days, and this is hold on a second. Let me just put myself on the screen. All right, so a couple days ago, I actually asked around a lot of people, especially while I was at work, in terms of how they felt about the whole daylight savings time thing being permanent. Um, there was mixed thoughts and mixed feelings about it, and I mean, yeah, I'm a little conflicted. I'm a little conflicted on things. It's one thing to actually it's one thing to say about seasonal depression, right? Of course, seasonal depression, which is the main thing. Never even heard of this until certain people were telling me about it. It's wow. For me, there's some people who didn't care for it, and there's other people that did. But it's kind of hard because some people, when you switch your clocks forward, of course you lose an hour of sleep, and when you switch your clocks back, it's going to actually you're gonna actually get more you're gonna get your hour sleep back and stuff. But how can I put this? How can I put this? Of course, you want some more sunlight in the afternoon. I get it, but what happens if we hit fall and winter again? I mean, to make it permanent, I don't know if that's gonna work, man. I don't know if that's just gonna work, man. I don't even know if that's gonna pass through the Senate, to be honest with you. But this is the story I'm actually gonna talk about today on this New York podcast right here. Okay. What we want to do is hang on a second. Um, hang on a second here. So, of course, the United States could soon be living with daylight savings time year round if the Senate has its way. Are there drawbacks to that plan? Hmm. Interesting. That's interesting. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's really interesting right here. Hold on a minute here. That's not what I meant. That is not what I meant here. Give me 1 second. All right. Okay. So, are there drawbacks to that plan? Yes. Sleep experts say, but there are drawbacks to the alternatives too. Here's a breakdown of the options and what they could do to um upend your daily life. So listen to this, folks. What if we had daylight savings time forever? First, a word on the nomenclature. Standard time is observed by most of the United States in the winter months. Daylight savings time is the one we're in after we move the clocks forward every spring. The Senate recently voted to make daylight savings time permanent, meaning there would be more sunlight in the afternoon, but without the transition into standard time in the winter, which I don't know how that's going to really work. People in many northern parts of the country would be waking up to darkness at 8 a.m. or later. I don't know about that one, man. That sounds a little iffy right there, man. That sounds a little iffy right there. Um, I don't know, man. This one's a little tricky for me to understand. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess. Um, a lot of people prefer to have that daylight at the end of the day instead, said Philip German, a professor of clinical psychology and psychiatry at the University of Pennsylvania. But those mornings are going to get dark. A similar debate is playing out of Europe. In 2019, lawmakers in the European Union voted to scrap the seasonal time change and instead allow every country in the bloc to choose whether it would follow daylight savings time throughout the year or maintain standard time. But countries disagree over what time to adopt, and the pandemic slandemic has stalled those debates. Supporters of daylight savings time, including retailers and many outdoor countries, say the extra afternoon daylight would boost sales as customers would have more time to spend their money after work or school. Critics, however, say it would disrupt people's um, circadian rhythm, which is closely linked to sunlight, resulting in more people feeling tired and more dangerous commutes in darker mornings. What if we never had daylight savings time at all? That's what the American Academy of Sleep Medicine wants. Standard time throughout the year, which would mean brighter mornings and darker evenings. A change to permanent standard time is best aligned with human um, circadian biology and has the potential to produce um, beneficial effects for public health and safety, they said in 2020. Hold on, man. Hold on. I gotta say something about this whole thing. Look, the thing about this idea, I can't really say that I agree with this because you got to remember something from you got to remember. I'm pretty sure a lot of people from science class actually learned about the rotation of the earth going around the sun. That's what it does. There's people there's people who are living in the west coast of the USA who now have daylight daylight right now, and us in the east coast we have darkness right now because it's evening. Now, I don't know how that's gonna really apply to everybody, especially those who's living outside the United States. I'm not sure how that's just gonna work though. I'm not sure how that's gonna work though, to be honest with you. To me, that shit sounds like a dub. Yeah, that part. So is this the end of standard time? The Senate passed legislation with almost no warning or debate that, if approved by the White House and President Biden, would make daylight savings time permanent. Heated debate, scientists and politicians have been pushing for a single time system for a while, but not everyone agrees on which one. Winners and losers, gas stations, and the leisure industry tend to profit from the switch to daylight savings time. Farmers could do without. Um, why do we why do we spring ahead and fall back in the first place? Here are some question answers to common questions on the script. Arizona and Hawaii already do this. When the rest of the country moves into daylight savings time each spring, residents in these two states are essentially out of sync with the rest of the country. It's a relief to not have to think about losing or gaining that hour, said Denise Rodriguez on Esquivel, an assistant professor of psychiatry at the University of Arizona who specializes in the treatment of insomnia and circadian rhythm disorders. She said Arizona residents were not too keen on extending blazing hot weather into the evening. Sometimes she has to calculate what time is it for friends or family in other states. It takes some getting used to, she said. but other than that, it's just great. Um, Sleep experts who advocate permanent standard time argue that it would improve sleep and alertness during the day. Circadian misalignment, they say, can result in higher risk of some serious health conditions, including obesity, metabolic disorders, cardiovascular issues, um, depression or seasonal depression, however you call that, and even cancer. Jeez, that's wow. Okay, that's really scary right here. Um, yeah, that's really scary right there. We tried this before. In 1974, the United States experimented with keeping daylight savings time all year in an effort to reduce the nation's energy consumption. David Prerau, the author of Seize the Daylight, the curious and contentious story of daylight savings time, um, said many people quickly realized they dislike getting up, walking, and driving in the cold, dark morning. The New York Times declared the winter of 1974 as the second dark age. Weird, but okay. Um, the peop the people absolutely hated it. Mr. Pre-Route said it became very unpopular very quickly. Yeah, the law, which was signed by President Richard Nixon, allowed for the experiment to last 2 years. Because of public response, the Senate and the House voted to end it a yearly early, a year early. The U.S. experiment followed a similar one in Britain, which set its clocks permanently forward in 1968. Many people, essentially farmers who awoke in darkness, hated it. In 1970, at a heated um, um, parliamentary debate, um, lawmakers expressed their constituents' ex- exasperation over the darker mornings. Let us get rid of it, said Michael Joplin, a conservative member in the House of Lords. Cows and other stocks hate the change, argued John Mackey, a lawmaker sympathetic to farmers who were concerned over the decrease in milk yield. Not sure what that means, but um a year later the clocks were reverted and the twice yearly cycle resumed. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. So some expert history to repeat itself if daylight savings time is made permanent once more. But Steve P. Um, Callan, Calandrillo, a professor of law and public policy topics at the University of Washington, including daylight savings time, said it was still worth retrying. If the effects were a decrease in traffic fatalities and crime, and an increase in consumer spending, then I would hope it would have a chance, he added. Are these the only options? The current system is essentially a compromise, and there are alternatives that curve time changes into increments other than an hour, though none are especially great. I personally think that 8 months of daylight savings time and 4 months of standard time is very excellent compromise between the two alternatives and give us sort of the best of both, Mr. Pre-Rouse said. Well, there's one thing you can't really control, and that's the weather. The same way you cannot control the earth rotating around the sun. All right? I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying though. Uh I'm just saying. So, um meeting in the middle and setting the clock back or forward 30 minutes doesn't solve anything either, Mr. Jermaine said. The 30 minutes would minimize the effects, he said. But then are you making any real difference or does it become meaningless at that point? Well, um we could drop time zones entirely. Two professors at Johns Hopkins University, Steve H. Hank Hankey, a professor of applied economics, and Richard Kahn Henry, a professor of physics and astronomy, have put their names to an alternative that eliminates time zones entirely. Under the Hankey Henry permanent calendar system, time around the world would be tracked under a universal standard, just as pilots currently use coordinated universal time to avoid time shifting mishaps in the air. In 2013, the writer Alison Schrager suggested in an article in the Atlantic that the continental U.S. should have just two time zones, making the East and West Coast 1 hour apart. Anyone who lives on the coast and does business with the other can imagine the uncountable benefits of living in a two time zone nation, excluding Alaska and Hawaii, she wrote. In China, the whole nation uses Beijing time. What if the United States, where the eastern and western borders are about 400 miles closer together than China's, did the same? Um, it's a really bad idea, Mr. Germain said. People I know in China who live further west, they just hate it. People on the western side of China are essentially 4 to 5 hours out of sync with the rest of the country, resulting in unpleasant waking hours, he said. The main point, he said, is we need to pick one and stick with it. Yeah, yeah, I actually agree with this shit though. Hold on. I actually agree with this right there. Um anyway, let me see. Let me see. Um let me see. Oh yeah, let's talk about the whole thing with TI for a sec. Let's talk about the whole thing with TI. Um Now before I even get to the one where he hold on a second here. Hold on. Yeah, hold that thought. So Ti um slams a comedian. Let's see. Okay. So this is according to Hip Hop DX website. Um T.I. admittedly had a difficult 2021. The Atlanta rapper and his wife Tamika Cotto Harris, otherwise known as Tiny Harris, were accused by multiple women of sexual assault, with one allegation leading to an actual criminal investigation in Los Angeles, which is crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, the case was ultimately dismissed due to the Senate of limitations, no statute of limitations for California. But one comedian in Atlanta on Monday, April 5th, made the risky choice of cracking a joke about the whole ordeal while T.I. was seated in the audience. During the one night only open mic comedy show, the Live Your Life rapper was caught on video storming the stage and snatching a mic after the crack was made by comedian Lauren Knight. Well, yeah. As many times as you joke on that shit, nigga, I'm gonna check your motherfucking ass as long as it takes. T.I. said in the video shared via baller alert. There ain't no motherfucking case. Ain't never been no motherfucking case. I ain't did nothing wrong, and my wife ain't did nothing wrong. And if you keep on playing with me, nigga, I'm going to motherfucking continue to confront publicly, verbally, he said. Um, Knight attempted to defuse the situation by telling the audience she believed T.I. to be innocent, but for Tip, the damage had already been done, and he continued to accost her. If I want to make jokes about something, I'll make jokes about something. Nice said, defending herself. You are not going to tell me to shut the fuck up in my shit. This is my shit. Let's be very clear. Ti then tried to come in for a hug before snatching the mic out of her hand. The pair then continued to argue it out on stage, with the rapper ultimately conceding to Knight and leaving. Knight turned the mic back on and reaffirmed to the audience that this was her shit and she was allowed to joke about whatever she wants. This isn't the first time T.I.'s pivot into stand-up comedy has upset a fellow comedian. The 41-year-old lyricist recently had a brief feud with established comedian Gottfried, who criticized T.I. in an interview and accused him of not taking the craft seriously. T.I. was quick to bite back on Instagram. You said in your little interview is you said that he's not a comedian, and had you taken the time to come to the stage, what you said that you would not do and you should not do. But I disagree. You would have heard in my set I said, I am not a comedian. I am a superstar, he continued. There's a difference. Um yeah. Look, man, this goes back to what I was saying about the whole situation with the whole thing with Chris Rock and the Will Smith situation. Just because you're a fucking comedian does not mean you get to be fucking insensitive. Like, come on. Just because you're a comedian does not mean you get to get away from the fucking consequences. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is invincible to the consequences and backlash and whatever case scenario may be. The same way goes with the same way goes with the Rock brothers too. The same way goes with the Rock brothers. I get Tony Rock and Kenny Rock try to defend the brother and stuff like that, but come on, he's no fucking saint, man. And I say that because in a previous episode, I actually brought up the old movie that he did called Good Hair, and one of the women who I actually talked about was very upset with the bad joke. Like I said before, man, you have to differentiate the difference between a funny joke versus a bad joke. Okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't sugarcoat this shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my take on that shit though, man. And for me, it's just flat out crazy, man. I feel like both of these comedians are just acting like they butt hurt and shit. But at the same token, um, let karma do the work. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Um I was trying to make a point, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I play. That's the purpose of the sound effects, folks. Whenever I say something, I'm only going to play something. So, you know what I mean? That's what makes the show very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, another TI news. Um, let's take a look at another TI article. All right. So, T.I. crowns rapper Moneybag Yo as Trapper of the Year at the famous Trap Museum, Music Museum. Thursday, March 24th was a night full of celebration and indulging in the hip hop sector of Black excellence in Atlanta, Georgia. The Trap Museum is usually a fun spot full of art sets, themes relating to Black music culture, and escape rooms. This week they switched up the tempo as it was the gathering place for the year's Trapper of the Year VIP event that honored one of the hottest rappers of the year, Moneybag Yo. What does it mean to be a Trapper of the Year, you ask? According to the Trap Museum's founder, Tip T.I. Harris, this annual accolade is awarded to the most productive rapper whose whose hustle shines through, who shows up and supports their community and contributes to the trap culture. This award has been honored to other heavy hitters like Atlanta native rapper Lil Baby, and who received his recognition in 2021. In celebration of this award, the museum unveiled an exhibit in honor of Moneybag Yo with art curated by um, Jaron Harris, Javante Lane, and Rich Bizarre. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did I read this right? Did I just see the person's name Rich Bizarre? Oh shit. Hold up. This is this is funny. Okay, Moneybag also blessed with 500K ring from his rap brother Ti. Ooh, 500K sounds like a lot of money. Yes, guests got to vibe out to music provided by Hot Nice. Wait, hold on. Hot 107.9's DJ Ja Lion Sound, DJ Mrs. Incognito, and Party Boy Deuce. Oh shit. Oh man. Okay. They also indulge in custom sip and trap drinks based on the man of the hour, including a drink named Waukesha. Waukesha. Oh wow. Yeah, I remember this. Everybody remembers this song. Anyway, which was made with apple whiskey, blue sriracha, sour apple, cranberry juice, and Sprite. Check out how those ingredients relate to his hit single under the same name in his music video below. The most honorable part of this event is watching people give Moneybag Yo his flowers while he is alive. We withstand some of the harshest, most horrendous conditions of our community, and we were able to take those experiences and put them to music and present them to people who can also relate to them. The shit generates revenue, and if you consistently generate revenue, you deserve to be celebrated. If you consistently represent people who ain't got the voice to speak for themselves, you deserve to be celebrated. So in 2021, the person who most consistently represented the people that came from that environment was Moneybag Yo. Ti continue by saying Moneybag Yo has been one of the industry's most talented and consistent hit makers in the past year. Moneybag Yo has proven he is dedicated to his art, stands tall on his business, and represents his city of Memphis well. Congratulations to Bag and his entire team. The crowd cheered and showed love during the entire speech. Well, yeah, I would agree with the applause. All right, notable guests in attendance include King Kid Singing Harris, OG Bobby Billions, Big Boss Vet, um Kwanzaa Hall. Kwanzaa Hall. Oh my gosh. Club Godzilla. Yo, what is up with all these crazy funny ass names, man? Club Godzilla. Oh wow. Club Godzilla. Yo. Oh my gosh. TNT. TK Kravitz, trans lead T, new face, wifey baby, Talamisha, um, Malachi, Josh King, Kodak, um, Rachel O'Neal, Joy Buchanan, Cassandra Diggs, and more. Let's see. Um, hold on one second, folks. All right. Um. All right. So yeah, we're gonna go into another segment that's also one of my favorites right here. Um, it's going to be in regards to the recent movie that just came out called Morbius, which is the movie Man Cave Popcorn segment. All right, let's make some noise for that one right there. All right. So the recent movie Morbius came out and it was number one in the box office. Um, I'm gonna actually, yes. So, um, okay. So we're gonna look for the movie box office of of 2022. All right, here we go. Let me see. No, Morbius. I remember. Hold on, April. Hold on, April. All right. All right. Here we go. Yeah, box office mojo. Here we go. Now we're just gonna actually. There's another one. All right. All right. Let me see. No, wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. Um, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute here. Um, all right, so here we go. So, of course, Morbius is actually number one in the box office. Um, 39 million, 39,005,895, 4,268 theaters, and per theater is 9,139. Of course, grand total gross is 39. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So, so basically, all right. Hold on a minute here. Yes. Number two is The Lost City, $14,710,893. 4,283. Um, The Batman, third place, 11,002,975. Number four, Uncharted, Sony Pictures, 3,665,735. Of course, obviously, I don't think obviously Spider-Man No Way Home, 1,442,005. Sorry about that. Um, and the rest is just 6, 9, 10. I'm not gonna really go through all this. I'm not gonna go through all this though. So, congratulations to Morbius for reaching number one in the box office here. All right. So let's see. Obviously, for those of you who may not know what the movie Morbius is about, this is basically okay. So Jared Leto stars as the title character Michael Morbius, a scientist searching for a cure to his blood disease who tests a concoction on himself and turns into a vampire. Um, and of course, um, box office comparison. This is the third installment in the Sony Picture Columbia standalone franchise centered on Marvel Comics villains. 2018's Venom earned $213.5 million, the same figure achieved by its 2021 sequel Venom Let There Be Carnage, which I will watch in a few minutes. Current Morbius projections are below both of those titles. Um, And of course, we got a little competition here. I will review. I will review. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Hope when it comes out, and hopefully, I don't know if it'll take the number one spot, but we'll see. Um, yeah. So obviously, Ambulance came out. I'm going to review that as well. so So another movie that's coming out other than Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is Ambulance. Universal's original R-rated action thriller stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Yahya Abdul Mateen II as adopted brothers who get more than what they bargained for when attempting to rob a bank. Michael Bay, who helmed the five Transformers and two Bad Boys movies, directs. Of course, box office comparisons based to other original non-sequels theatrical releases in the past decade were 2016's 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi with $52.8 million, 2013's Pain and Gain, 49.8 million. Three of Gyllenhaal's more recent action or adventure movies were 2017's Life with 30.2 million, 2015's Everest with $43.4 million, and 2015's Southpaw with $52.4 million. Yeah. Um, the rest I'll probably go over it in like future episodes and stuff. So, you know what I mean? Um anyway, now I want to get into some things to do in Flushing. All right. So we're gonna go to some stuff to do in Flushing as well as hang on a second. Um yeah. So things to do in Flushing. There's of course. All right, so starting with for those of you who are in the New York area, and especially in Flushing, Queens, and other boroughs, if you're looking for something fun activities to do, I got you. Starting with the Queens Theater. So the Queens Theater is inviting everyone in the community to its first ever 3-day Latin culture and dance fiesta on Friday, April the 8th through Sunday, April the 10th. The event features performances by some of New York City's most renowned Latin presenters, Los Planeros de la 21, Grupo Ribolo Tango in America, Maduritas, um, and Macrobioticas y Multi Orgasmicas, and a family friendly performance of the Selfish Giant El Gigante, um, Egosta, E- Egoista, in both English and Spanish. Queen's Theater Willie Mascara, who is producing the Latin Culture and Dance Fiesta, said this month's celebration will be fun for people of all ages. There is something for everyone to enjoy, Mascara said. Comedy, a play, tango music and dance, Afro Colombian music, and Puerto Rican music and dance. In 1997, Queens Theater organized a Latino cultural festival inviting the Spanish community to come out and enjoy Flushing Meadows Corona Park and the theater, according to Mascara. We wanted them to know that this facility is also for them. It lasted 17 years. And at one point, we stopped the festival, but we didn't stop booking Latin events. Mascara said. Um, as the arts and entertainment sector has shifted to online programming amid the COVID-19 pandemic slandemic during the last 2 years, Mascara said they are excited to have patrons return to the venue. This year, hold on. This year's Mascara says they wanted to create a mini festival to be held on the weekend. Queens Theater's executive director Taryn Sacramone came up with the idea to host a Latin culture and dance fiesta. She said, in quote, "What do you think about that?" And I said, "It's an excellent idea." Mascara said, "There's so much culture and talent in New York City, and it's great to be able to do this and have all these performers at Queen's Theater. That's why we call it the Latin Cultural and Dance Festival." Of course, here's the lineup of the performances. Tango in America, Friday, April 8th, 8 p.m. on Queen's Theater main stage. Tango in America features an orchestra, dancers, and singers performing traditional tango, including a medley um, of Latin American iconic songs. The show then shifts to present several North American hits with songs by George Gershwin, Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, uh, Lalo Schifrin, Mission Impossible, Chick Corea, Spain, and Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. Grupo Ribolu, Saturday, April 9th, 8 p.m. on Queen's Theater's main stage. With some of the finest Colombian musicians in the United States, Grupo Ribolo, with founders Ronald Polo, Morris Canate, and Joanna Castaneda, joined their talents to lead and assemble rich of musical traditions of their ancestors, the Afro descendants of Colombia's Caribbean coast, with the strong, mesmerizing beats of modern Caribbean urban uh, sounds. This music goes into your system like a dose of pure, contagious energy. The shellfish giant El um, Gigante Egoista, Saturday, April 9th, 1 p.m. English and 3 p.m. 3:30 p.m. Spanish and Queens Theater Studio Theater, recommended for ages 4 and up. A classic tale about a giant who builds a wall around his garden to keep out the town's children, but in doing so plunges his garden into an endless winter. Traveling depression era, uh, hucksters transform their wares to tell a much needed story, a celebration of the power of stories to divide us or bring us closer together. Tickets are available for $15 each for seating in all sections. Um, Purchases for 4 tickets will receive a $5 discount. Use the code FAMILY4 and are $55. Um, Maduritas, um, macrobioticas y multi organ orgasmicas. Sunday, April 10th, 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. in Queens Theater Studio Theater. Um, Moderators, macrobioticas, um, multi orgasmicas, um, is a dark comedy written by Christian Cortez, directed by Franco um, Galacio, and starring Kathy Tejada, Fior Marte, and Melba Miranda. Life is understood from love and heartbreaks, but when we pass the barrier of 4 years and wrinkles become our inseparable companions, everything changes except good friends who are together until the end and beyond. This show is in Spanish, yes. Also, Los Pleneros de la 21, Sunday, April 10th, 3 p.m. on Queens Theater's main stage. Based in East Harlem, Pleneros de la 21 builds cultural bridges through exhilarating concerts and engaging performance workshops, with all activities guided by a mission to foster awareness, appreciation, performance, and development of the Puerto Rican artistic traditions of African Creole descent known as bomba and plena. Founded in 1983 by NEA Heritage Fellow Juan Gutierrez in partnership with his mentor Marshall Reyes Arvelo. LP21 developed from the traditional transmissions of these cultural expressions, learning at the needs of elder masters to form the philosophy underpinning its programs and performances, bringing grassroots bamba and plena music and dance to prominent stages and in classrooms worldwide, now virtually as well as in person. Its programs and embedded embed education and awareness into performances, expanding access to local cultural arts of the highest caliber. Affordable ticket prices range from $15 to $30, and discounted prices are for senior citizens and students. To purchase your tickets and reserve a spot, you click the link right there. Yeah. Um, Hang on a second here. Let me just fill you guys in on the other thing. Hold on a sec. So yeah, let's get to this. All right, hold on. There's another one. Yeah, there's another one. There's another one right here. Okay, we got another place for you. In case you guys are looking forward into doing something right here. This is the Queens County Farm Museum. Yes, the Queen County Farm Museum has announced its spring event schedule, which includes the annual Barnyard Egg Hunt, Apple Blossom Carnival, Be a Pollinator Earth Day service, and the Sheep Shearing Festival. With 325 of continuous farming and as a model for biodiversity, Queen's Farm features these iconic events to connect people to the 47-acre historic site and to celebrate the environment. Queen's Farm is hoping this spring, said Jennifer Walden Weapon, executive director of the Queens County Farm Museum. The Barnyard Egg Hunt kicks off our spring event season. Visitors can meet our new flock of hens, visit the um, alpaca, sheep, goats, steer, and pigs as the farm bursts into bloom. It's an exciting time in Queens. Okay, so here's a lineup of this season's events. Of course, Barnyard Egg Hunt. For over 20 years, Queens County Farm Museum has hosted the largest egg hunt in Queens. Whiskers the bunny will be ready for family photo ops, and egg hunts will be ongoing throughout the day. Bring your own basket is encouraged. The Barnyard Egg Hunt also features a farm-wide scavenger hunt, bunny hop dancing, and excellent local food vendors. Visitors can enjoy the farm's animals and tour the 47-acre site on a hayride. Advance tickets only for this event. Tickets are $12 for all ages and can be purchased at the website queensfarm.org. Saturday, April 9th, and of course Saturday, April 16th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. is okay. So there it is right there. So a bee pollinator Earth Day service day. This free program includes an afternoon of hands-on farm products for all ages, highlighting simple ways to support Queen's Farm and give back to Mother Earth. Task includes sifting compost, a trash flash mob, spring garden prep, and mulching apple trees. The program also includes apiary talks with the farm's resident beekeeper, a farm-wide scavenger hunt, and free giveaways. Uh, for an additional fee, visitors can enjoy hay rides and feed the farm's goats and sheep. In addition, Queen's Farm will host weekly service days every Tuesday and Sunday through November 1st, 2022 for adults ages 18 plus to work in the fields alongside Farm's farmers. Service days at Queen's Farm help foster New York City's environmental citizens through education and volunteerism. The program is open to all ages and no previous farming or gardening experience is necessary. The BA pollinator um, Earth Day service is free and advance registration is required at the website queensfarm.org. And of course, this is Friday, April 22nd from noon to 4 p.m. Okay, Apple Blossom Carnival. The Farms Orchard showcases the annual Apple Blossom Carnival, which runs for 2 consecutive weekends. Daily admission includes unlimited carnival rides and recycling crafts for kids at the Con Edison Ecology booth. Visitors can enjoy hay rides, midway games, and classic carnival fare from local food vendors. Advanced tickets are $12.95 to $21.95 for all ages and can be purchased at the website queensfarm.org. And it's on April 23rd to the 24th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and April 29th from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. April 30th and May 1st from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Now for the Sheep Shearing Festival. Time to get a little bit of country at the farm's annual sheep shearing festival. The farm's flock of sheep will prepare for the warmer weather by getting their much needed spring haircuts. Sheep shearing demos will be shown throughout the day. This event will highlight the cycle of fiber production with artisan wool spinning, natural dyeing, and weaving demonstrations. The program also features the live bluegrass sounds of the New Orleans influential Mama Duke. Farmer led tours will detail the growing practices and mission of the farm across its 47-acre historic site. Um, Queen's Farm veggie seedlings and other annuals will be available to purchase for home gardens. Guests can see the farm's animals, hop on a hayride, and enjoy tasty treats from local food vendors. Advance tickets only for this event. Tickets are $12, $8, um, ages 4 to 11, and can be purchased at queensfarm.org. And this is going to take place on Saturday, May 14th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Queens County Farm Museum is located at 7350 Little Neck Parkway in Floral Park. There is free event parking and a bicycle rack is available on site. Farm grounds and restrooms are accessible. For more information or to plan your visit, go to queensfarm.org or call 718-347-3276. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I miss anything. If I didn't miss anything. Actually, yeah, one more thing. One more thing. Okay. So we got some more things to talk about. And this is 8 things to do in NYC from April 8th to the 10th. Here we go. All right. Starting with Friday, April the 8th, Afro Indigenous Histories of Food and Gardening in the Bronx. Exiled from the Caribbean homeland of St. Vincent in the late 18th century. Um, Garifuna indigenous communities have settled around the world from Central America to England and the Bronx. Hold on a second. Cultivating unique and vibrant culinary traditions. Um, in a lively discussion, a panel of experts explores food customs as a defining element of culture and shares personal and familial experiences with traditional Garifuna dishes. This event takes place from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The event is free with a general admissions ticket. Um, of course, this is the New York Botanical Garden, located on 2900 Southern Boulevard, Bronx, New York, 10458 5126. Um, Scaringella part tree planting. Volunteer with Tree Time to plant trees at Scaringella. No, hold on. Wait, Scar Angela. Okay, Scar Angela Park. Trees provide so many benefits to New Yorkers, such as improved air and water quality, reduced pollution, and lower energy costs. Volunteers will be trained in proper planting techniques, come dressed in sturdy boots or shoes, long pants, or clothing that can get dirty. Um, Volunteers under 18 must be accompanied by a chaperone. This event takes place from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The cost is free, registration required. Scar Angela Park, located at 2164 West 13th Street in Brooklyn, New York. Conversation on women choreographers. Dance on Lumiere presents a conversation with Sidra Bell and artistic director Karen Rozak, discussing the surge of women in leadership in dance with choreographer Sidra Bell, followed by a brief presentation of Bell's work. As the founder of the annual Women's Director, Choreographers, and Composers residency, Rozak believes residencies are a crucial step to bringing women to the forefront of the industry. The event begins at 7 p.m. Tickets can be purchased online, by phone, or in person on the day of the event. The cost of the tickets is $25 per person. So Martha Graham Studio Theater, located at 55 um Bethune Street, New York 10014. Saturday, April 9th. Yes, April 9th. Multi Toffee um Ale launch event. Cult favorite chocolate brand Tony's Chocolonely. Chocolonely. Yeah, wow. Is partnering with New York City's first female owned brewery, Talea Beer Incorporated, to a company to launch a multi toffee ale. The new brew will be available exclusively on draft at the Talea tap room in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and each pour will be paired with a Tony's pretzel and toffee milk chocolate bar. Tony's will be parking their chocolate truck outside of the tap room, and they will be giving away free chocolate bars. To add some savory to the mix, the Za Report will be popping up and serving custom Tony's inspired pizzas. Talea Tap Room, located 87 Richardson Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11211. Okay, the 24th annual NYC Tartan Day Parade. Join the National Tartan Day Parade New York Committee for a kid-friendly parade with over 2K registered marchers. Um, who will be led by Scottish actress Karen Gillian, of course, from Guardians of the Galaxy, Jumanji, and Doctor Who. Um, Gillian, Gillen, will helm the parade, followed by a lively procession of pipe and drums band, Highland dances, Scottish family clans, um, Shetlander Vikings, and more. Um, The annual celebration of Scottish heritage and culture brings together a rich tapestry of participants along with many thousands of spectators. The parade is free from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 6th Avenue between 44th Street and 55th Street. And of course, there's the Brooklyn Guitar School grand opening event. The Brooklyn Guitar School makes learning guitar fun and accessible for everyone, with step by step curriculum, amazing coaches, and a warm community of music learners. Enjoy a free workshop with Brooklyn guitar legend Matthias um, Losher. Additionally, enjoy free classes, lessons, and string changes all day for kids, teens, and adults. Attend for a chance to win free guitar classes for 1 month and acoustic guitar and more. The event is from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. RSVP ahead of time to secure your spot for the different classes. Of course, this is Brooklyn Guitar School, located 78 4th Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11217. Sunday, April the 10th, Futures, Narratives, and Networks work from the More Art Fellowship. More art engaging artists fellows come together to share their work as socially engaged artists through a series of workshops, performances, and conversations with guests. The EEA fellows draw from their vast experience and research practices to examine the limits of public art, technology, and nature, building networks of communication across generations and languages, the intersection of teaching and artistic practices, and personal embodied experience as a tool for community building. Register online for a full day of free programming alongside a diverse group of socially engaged artists working deeply across disciplines and research areas. This event is from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Queens Museum, New York City building, um, Queens, New York, 11368. Spring Family Day. Carnegie Hall Spring Family Day is a day long open house that invites children and their adults to explore the idea of Afrofuturism in a fitting nod to the boundless imagination of Afrofuturism. Families enjoy an array of social experiences, art activities, music making concerts, and more. Design your comic book hero and superpowered instruments for harmony and justice, and participate in a group songwriting session. Sing and dance to soulful funk music, build your instruments from recycled materials, and more. The event is for children's ages 5 to 10. RSVP ahead of time to attend this free event beginning at noon. Carnegie Hall, located at 57th Street and 7th Avenue, New York, 10019. And that is the places that you need to go to of having some things to do in Flushing and having some stuff to do in the 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 boroughs of Manhattan, Brooklyn, and of course there's Queens as well. So there you go, right there. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it. That's gonna do it, man. That's gonna do it for episode 134. I do apologize for the delay and the slip ups, but that's okay. I'm only human. So you know what I'm saying? Anyway, you like what you heard in today's episode and previous episodes whatsoever, make sure you show your love by making a charitable donation to my Cash App, which is G Money Stacks 555. That's $ capital G lowercase Money, capital S lowercase TACKZ 555. Once again, it's not about breaking the bank, folks. It's all about doing the best you can on whatever amount of money you are comfortable with. It could be $1, it could be $2, $5, $10, whatever. It's all about doing the best you can, and don't worry about stressing yourself out trying to, you know, have a lot of money. You don't have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of which, I do apologize for not doing the other segment, which is called the let me get ready for the chimes. Hang on a second. Let me try to do this. Podcast free game mechanisms. And you guys know what this is, man. This is the opportunity for me to actually let you know on some things that you need to start a podcast. For anybody that's interested in making a podcast show like I'm doing right now with 3 shows underneath of my belt, I got you. So listen to this, folks. All right, the first thing that you need is headphones. And of course, a simple microphone. Now it doesn't have to be any microphone that's too expensive or pricey. It could be anything that's simple, like excuse me, like a Yeti microphone. It could be an Voxcon A800 model that I'm using, which I bought months ago. You can find the microphones in Best Buy. You can find it at Target. You can find it on Amazon on Yeah. And you can also find the microphones in Walmart as well. So there you go, right there. Um, of course, you need a laptop. You need a laptop or computer to do your live streams, which is very important. Um, and and if you have a unique name for your podcast, um, you want to make sure that it represents you, and don't worry about other people who don't like your shit. So it's not about them; it's about you and what you and what matters to you is your happiness. You know what I'm saying? Um. Anyway, so with that being said, I am going to actually recommend two things. Actually, first, StreamYard. Um, for those of you who are new listeners and new watchers in the YouTube universe, actually, it is a software that has creation tools for you to create talking points, your own brand, of course, the name of your podcast, talking points, and of course, it also allows you to set up an account with StreamYard. You could put your email addresses on there. You could put the name of your podcast email address on there. Um, when you put either one in there, you're gonna receive an email from StreamYard, so you could be able to type in the 6 numbers that is going to be given to you. So you're gonna click get login code, and then when you see the 6 numbers, copy and paste those numbers, and when you paste the numbers on there, you're gonna log in, and you should be good to go on trying to set up your live stream schedule of when you're going to record your podcast, live stream on YouTube, and all that good stuff right there. Um, and also it allows you to send invite links to the people that you have email addresses, phone numbers, and of course, um, your Instagram handles. So hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. All right. Yes. So, okay, StreamYard. All right. So, yeah, like I was saying, you get to send invite links, especially if I send you an invite link to join me on any of my podcast shows whatsoever as a guest, of course. And if I see you on the day that I record the podcast, I will add you to the live stream so you can chat with me on the topics. And of course, if anything you want to talk about whatsoever, the floor is yours. You know what I'm saying? Um, it could be about mental health. It could be about anything in what's going on with behind the scenes of mass transit, and it could be about anything in particular. Like it could be anything in particular. Like of course um any stories in gaming, any stories in podcasting and all the other stuff. So that's just what it is right there. So yeah, that was your podcast free mechanism segment right there. I am going to actually go to another segment, which is the last one of the night. Um, the last one of the night is going to be stream choices on the go. Make sure you follow me on 17 Live at G Money Stacks, Queens, New York. And make sure you follow the show on Facebook and Instagram. Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York podcast on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, alongside with my other shows, which is basically Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, which is the sports show that I'm doing. And make sure you follow my other show, Meticulous Values Podcast, and also follow me on the gram as well, which is G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. Now, make sure you turn on your notifications for updates and when this episode is going to be dropping, and all that other good stuff. Though, if you have any thoughts on what you thought about on the topics that was discussed, whatever it is, you could comment on the Instagram podcast show page. And also sometimes you could comment in the Instagram live feed as well. So you know what I'm saying? And make sure you go to the link in bio that says linktree/G Money Stacks 555 on there. So you can actually be aware on where you can actually leave a voice message. You know what I'm saying? A voice message. And when you click on the link, you're gonna see the name of the show podcast. You're gonna click on that and you're gonna go to the anchor.fm page where it has all the episodes being posted on there, and you're gonna see listen on Spotify, support, and you're gonna see the word message. You click on message, make sure you record off of your iPhones, your Androids, or you can even do it off of your laptop. You can also do it off of your laptop with a microphone and headphones. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah. Now, speaking of Anchor.fm, by the way, um, when you are about to make a first episode drop, right? Anchor.fm is the hosted site that I'm using. And of course, you don't necessarily some people would put trailers, but not everybody's gonna do trailers though. Like for me, I didn't do any trailers because number one, I knew I was gonna take this podcast and shit very seriously. And that's the reason why I didn't do a trailer like everybody else. Because of the fact that, everything is in the synopsis and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do that. I mean, it's optional. Um, depending on your choice. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Anchor.fm, um, don't worry about the numbers and the analytics and stuff like that that'll get you down. Don't worry about that though. You know what I'm saying? You can't rush the process, especially if you're making a podcast episode or how many episodes you're trying to do a week on a weekly basis. Not too many people would do bi-weekly. I rather do things on a weekly basis. It keeps me more active. You know what I'm saying? It keeps me more active and be able to create some ideas that's bouncing all over my head so I can put it in the show episode descriptions. So there you go right there. Yeah, so yeah, make sure you subscribe to all the audio streaming platforms, which I am going to mention right now, starting with Anchor, Audacity, Audible, Audio Burst, Amazon Music. We are on Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podbay, Podfriend, Podopolo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts. Make sure you don't forget to give a 5-star rating to Podchaser, Podfriend, and Spotify. A 5-star rating will be appreciated. We are also on Radio Public, We are also on iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. Make sure you follow Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York podcast on iHeartRadio alongside with my other shows, Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast and Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show. That's also on there too. Make sure you follow those three right there. And last but not least, the YouTube. Make sure you grab that subscribe button and tap the naughty bell so you can be reminded of when the show goes in the air via live stream. Stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Make sure you catch up on the new and previous episodes that's already posted to the YouTube channel page. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes and topics. Download your favorite episodes. Make sure you share the videos, share the episodes, tell a friend to another friend, spread the word to everybody about this podcast right here. And of course, make sure you share the podcast along with the link that says linktree/GMoneyStacks555 with your wives, your husbands, your boyfriends, your friends, your girlfriends, and whoever you are cool with, you can share that too, especially to your homegirls and everybody. I need every single woman to listen to the episodes. Tell me what you think about the episodes. Same goes with the men too. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's it. Listen, remember, like I always say at the end of the show, don't rush the process, especially on what you're trying to do creatively. And for the podcasters that's trying to actually, create a podcast, especially dropping the first episode and other future episodes whatsoever, listen, you want to make sure you have confidence behind the microphone. Make sure you have make sure the sound quality is all good. No interference of certain noises or anything like that. And also also don't forget that the grind does not stop and hard work does pay off though. You know what I'm saying? Um there is no blueprint into making a podcast, and there is no right or wrong way to doing a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Um, and sometimes you want to break that narrative of trying to you want to break the narrative of, like, somebody saying that you're not going to be able to pass 50 episodes or whatever. And I did that with two of my podcast shows already. Meticulous Vaju's podcast review show yesterday, 59 episodes in the books. This one right here, 134 episodes already. I already made it already. And of course, you know the rest. You know the rest though. And 21 episodes of my excellent fun vibrant podcast sports edition show right there. And it's all about consistency and basically, being confident and creatively on what you love to do. Now, remember, two things that's very important: creative control and ownership. Those are two things that's very important to content creators such as myself, who is the host of three podcast shows, and other podcasters out there. Make sure you have ownership and creative control on your stuff, your ideas and stuff. So that's very important right there. So yeah, that's gonna do it. I'm G Money Stacks. Thank you very much for listening and tuning in and rocking with me and hearing me out and making sure that you guys and the folks out there all over the world, USA, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, and of course the five boroughs. If anyone is listening to what I was saying in terms of being creative and making sure making sure you have some ownership and creative control, because you don't want those things to be taken away by corporations. You know what I'm saying? So there you go, right there, though, man. Look, that's gonna do it for me, man. I'm off this shit. Make sure you take care of one another. Be careful out there. Be mindful of the people that you surround yourself with as far as your energy. And of course, make sure you have your water along with your Gatorade for electrolytes for energy and strength. And of course, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy, and try to protect your energy at all times. I hope you guys enjoyed this show right here. I hope you guys enjoy hearing me out on expressing myself. So peace out, one love, and have yourselves a good night. Oh, make sure I want you guys to go to YouTube right now for my homeboy Scorpio P in the Breakroom Sports Podcast. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, Mr. Filliams. All right. Subscribe over there and make sure you tune into his show. It's about to be on the air in a couple of minutes. So there you go, right there. If anyone has any questions or who sent you to the YouTube page of Mr. Filliams of aka Scorpio P of the Breakroom Sports Podcast, tell him G Money Stacks from the New York podcast, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast sent you. All right. Have yourselves a good night.